From today, we are going to start a very new and a fresh concept, that is a collection framework. Very important and very interesting. It's a framework. Okay. Step by step, all the things related to the collection framework we are going to understand. So before starting with the collection framework, there are three questions that why we are studying this collection frameworks. So the biggest problem while studying collection framework is and why it is introduced, we have done an array concepts, and in array we have found array is very good for storing a similar data at one place using a single object and access that value. So it's a power of an array. It can store the similar data at one place, and we can access it by using index positions, and it also is very fast search. Okay, it's hold all kind of data, collection of similar data. Basically, array is it is also the collection, by the way, collection of same data type data. Right. So this is the features of array. It can hold some data of similar data type. But this is the problem is the array is fixed in size. Fixed in size. That means once you declared an array, the size will be a fixed. You can't change its size. Once it decided, you can decide it. So it's having a two then advantage and it's also a drawback. So one thing is that it's storing all kind of data. And suppose you are declaring one array integer a is equal to okay and new int of assume that 100 fine. So it is okay up to when you're storing a 90 or 95 data, then it is absolutely fine. 25 KB memory is wasted, that is fine. But you are only storing a 2 data, but you are declaring a memory as a 100. So the 98 space will be get wasted. This is one situation may occurs. Another situation may be there that you are declaring an array of 100 size, but you want to store an 101 extra elements. So that is also not possible in the array. So this is a problem with the array. So we need some kind of solutions where we can store data dynamically so that though there is some data will be increased, so that must be that storage can shrink and grow accordingly. So to overcome this and to solve this all the problems, concept is implemented in Java. It is nothing but a collection framework. Now, when they are developing a collection framework, the very first the problem is they are developing to overcome this array problems. But they are not only focused on these problems. Also, there are many way they have implemented that the collection framework is not only for storing a similar data. It is designed in a such a way that there are many storage they have generated in the different memory storages. Based on the different situation, you can use the storage. For example, that if you want to store a water, you know that there is a need some special structure to store a water. You can't store water in a plate. You need some particular bottle. So for storing water, you have bottles. Then if you want to store some dry things, you can use something plate and all that things. So collection, it is not only for the making the things dynamically, but it also providing the different ways of storing data. Okay. Many runtime examples are there. I will also explain when this concept is used and where the example of this concept will come to know that. So let me tell you one quick example. So there is assume that in collection framework we are going to study one concept called a stack. The stack is a kind of things which store the data one after another. And if you want to remove some data, So whichever the data is come last, it will get removed first. So let's assume that I am drawing one circle here. Circle is of black colors. Remember this. Now the next circle I'm drawing, which is at red colors. Third circle I'm drawing, which is of blue colors. And one more circle I'm drawing, that is yellow colors. So now storing this circle, one memory type is used, and that is a stack memory. Now, if I want to remove the circle black, but it is not possible. If I do some undo operation, first yellow will remove. Though if I want to remove the red one, but it's not possible for me. The blue one will get removed. Red one, then it is this. So now this is also need a some kind of structuring where we can store a data and access data. So such a data will be stored in the form of stack. Okay. So there are different ways. So undo is the best operation. For doing undo operation, there is a method is used. Okay. So then there are some kind of concept are there. There is a hash set is there. There is a link hash set is there. There is a queue kind of concept are there. There is a list, double a list, queues. There are many concepts. So if you see that the collection framework hierarchy, we'll come to know that the collection frameworks is provide a variety of classes and interfaces. If you see this MS, we'll come to know that. So the collection framework is a rich set of class and interface. See, there is an iterable is an interface which is implemented by this is extended by the collection frameworks. And this collection have many things. So it have three major things: list, queue, and set. And the list have multiple methods. Okay. Array list, linked list, stack. Vector is deprecated that we are not going to use. Then queue having a priority queue and the dequeue. In set having two method. Has set, link has sets, and sorted sets. So we need to observe. See, the program are very small and simple. They are not that much complex also. The main fundamental of studying this list and studying this the class and interface, the understanding is important. Must have the clear idea to what kind of memory we need to store such a kind of data and which will be preferable so that can access faster manner. Sometime we need to store a data in random ways or at any locations. Sometimes want to maintain data in proper positions. Sometimes you want to duplicate data. Sometimes you don't want to duplicate data. Sometimes data should be the shorter way, shorter manners. Sometimes it is not needed. So depending on our need, we can decide which thing should we use. Either we can go for the list or queue or set. So that all things one class, one a day, or one or two class per day, we are going to complete. So it will take 8 to 10 days around, or maybe a 15 days to complete all the collection framework related things. So this is today I'm going to give the deep introductions and we'll start with one simple concept. So we'll come to know that why we need a collection framework. Okay. To start with any new concept or why is very clear, like why we are studying the collection framework. So it is clear for you why we need a collection framework. Hello. So what is the purpose why we are studying the collection frameworks? Hmm? Yes. Hello. So basically, you're understanding. Yeah. So without collection, we can store only a fixed amount of data. But if you want to store a data dynamically, so at that time we need a collection frameworks. Okay. So it will provide not only the dynamicness, it's also providing different kind of memories at different situation. And based on things, we can use that storing memory. Okay, so now this is fixed. The second thing comes into the minds. Okay, the collection is a dynamic. Then how it will calculation work, right? How the calculation should be done, the collection framework. Because in array, we know that once we declare a size, the size will be remain same, and it will not shrink and grow accordingly. It will be the fix. Either the memory will be get vested or the memory will be the get full. So the collection work very smartly. There is a simple way. Whenever you're trying to store some data based on the list, whatever the things you are using, so it will take an initial capacity. Okay, initial. It will take initial capacity of size 10. Remember this formula, how this is dynamic. So it will take as a 10 as a size. So means size it's fixed for the first. Either you can store one single data. So it's very initial things. What it doing? It generating one memory and which is having a size of 10. So from zeroth index, first index, second index, and dot 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 what? 10. It is having zeroth index, first index, second index, then some dot dot in the very last position, it's having ninth. So this is the first thing it's happened. So it, in index position, you can store that any value. But if it is an array, it will hold only 10 data. But as a collection framework is a dynamics. So whenever you are trying to store the 11th index data, 11th data, now it start the calculating. Like you have only the 10 size. Now what to do for storing the next element data? So at that time, what it do? It's use some formulas. So that formula we are trying to find here, and we have finally got that formula here. So if I try to open that formula, I'll come to know how the capacity is calculated. See. So the formula is new capacity is equal to old capacity into 1.5, or else new capacity is equal to old capacity plus old capacity greater than equal to 1. So any of the formula you can use. So we can use this formula. It is much suitable. And this all things should be done internally. Is all the calculation by the done by the internally. So now with the new capacity equal to what? Old capacity into 1.5. So what is our old capacity here? Old capacity is 10. You can multiply by this 1.5. So if you calculate this capacity, what is capacity is here? 10 into 1.5. So what will be the new capacity now? 15 will be the new capacity. So we'll get them 15 size. If we try to do this equal to size will be 15. So as soon as the size is calculated, then the new memory size will be created having the capacity of 15 here, which is generally not possible in an array because array is not made for this. So now if we check that, there will be a size will be the calculated right like this. So for the zeroth index, this is the first index and dot 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 what? The last one, that is 14 index. So this is internally. all the calculation is done and the 11 data will be stored. But as compared to array, collection framework is slow. Why it is slow? Because when the 11 data comes, and if you want to store the 11 data, then this memory will be get unused because it's having only 10 size. Then the new memory is calculated as per this formula. And now to store the 11th data, he first need to copy all the 10th element from the above. Okay, first, and then it going to store the 11th data. Okay, so this is thing is happening. And now imagine, so the 15th capacities also get increased. And now if you want to store some data which is at 16th positions, now again the formula will be the comes into the pictures. So the next capacity will be what? Old capacity. What is our old capacity now? 15. Then multiply by its 1.5. What is our new capacity? So it will basically take an integer value only. Yeah? Remember, it not take a floater. So the new size will be our what? 22. Even you can check here, they are also using that. Next part will be the what? 22. It's so it is rounded down. So integer part it will basically takes. So now it will be our new capacity will be 22. And store the 16 data. It will first copy all the 15 data from the above and then it will store 16. And after the 16th, the new capacity will be calculated as usual 22 multiplied by 1.5 and a new capacity is 33. Now you can see that there is a 33. So like this, it keep on calculating. So that is one of the like that is the only way to make it dynamic. But while it is making dynamic, it also becoming a slow because every time you need to copy the old data and put it into the new memory, and this thing is keep on going on. So it is okay until when the data size is smaller. But just imagine it having an 100, 1000 data, and you want to store the 100 and 1001 data. So at that times you need to copy the 1000 old data and again it paste to your adding to the new data. So that may be slower, and that's why the collection framework make the things will be slower. Okay, though it is a feature providing us to make it dynamics and work it properly, but still it is slower than array. Okay, you understood how the calculation is done internally. So this understanding is important while working with the collection frameworks. So let me give you the screenshot. And we'll take for the first part or one example of collection framework also, so that you can come to know the first way. Undo operation, can I do it here? Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Okay. So this is the array Y, different way of memory it's storing and all that things. Okay. So now apart from this collection framework, we'll take one example of today to understand the collection framework. Really it is dynamically working or not. Okay. Now the first program is very important. If you understood one programs, all the program structure are same. Okay. Only the class name will be the change and some method and the parameter will be changed. But the way of writing programs and the way of accessing program will be remain same only. Okay. Remember that. So now the first program you are going to do and understood how we can do it. So for we follow this structure to do all the kind of things. So now the first part, these are all are the interface and we are going to work only on a class based programs. So if you are using a array list, So today we are going to make an example of what array list. Array list is already extending this list class. List is holding the collection and collection is holding iterables. And you know that structure of multi-level inheritance and interface means it is extending the list class. List is implementing collection framework and collection is extending the iterable. It means that directly, indirectly, the array list is having all the feature of iterable, collections, and the list. So that it means damn powerful. It can access all the feature of iterable, collection, and the list as well. Okay. So remember, so whenever we directly make an object, an object dot functions. So let's take a first example. I will make some new package. And today we'll take only one example because on the basis of that, all the other program will be, the concept will be get implemented. And today main important is to why we are studying a collection framework, what are the advantages and how the memory is calculated. So you got all the concepts, why collection, how memory calculated, and the different ways. Okay. Now let's take one simple example, and that structure we are going to use for solve all the further programs. So let's go into our projects, and I'll make one package here. I'll give the name as a collection, CO collection. See, the program is very simple. Whichever the concept you want to implement, you have to first just create the object of that class. So the first thing we are going to see array lst. Don't give the same name as the class name because that create a problem. And of course, all the things we are going to do in a main class only. See, the structure of program is very simple. Whichever the concept you want to implement among this, you have to just make an object of that class. See, first thing we are going to solve that is array list, ARRAY array list. Okay. Now just understand, up to now we have seen the round bracket, we have seen the square bracket, but what is this now? It is a new one of these. So this is basically called as a generic type. The generic type means it can hold any kind of data, either integer, either float, either directly class as well as directly object as well as any kind data. Okay. So let me consider that I will initially hold an integer, integer, integer. It is not a data type, it is a generic type. So directly we are using a class. Then you are making object is equal to new array list. That's all. First line is very important. All the way, either using list, either using array list, either using any kind of things, you have to make an object of like this. Now it object have a function called add. Suppose I'll store one value, no problems. So as soon as I'm creating this memory, so that means how many capacity it's created now? Initial capacity is what? What is initial capacity of this array list? It is now 10. So until and unless I am writing data up to a 10, there is a no problem. Yeah. Yeah, but as an I can increase, but internally all the calculation will be done. Huh? We are not using it. It can hold any data, and it's also hold a duplicate data as well as okay, not. So now you can just simply print AL. If I run these programs, run as Java application, so we have one array list. Okay, but it is a dynamic one. We can keep on adding the data. It will keep on increasing. Okay, not a problem. and it is the indexed one, the sequence that you maintain, and that sequence only it can going to add. Okay, we can either add a data as well as if I want to something remove data, I can remove as well. Now, for the removing, you need to pass the index positions SYSO. There are two property you are finding. Array list is hold dynamic data. It is same as the list concept in Python. There is an append method, here is an add method. You keep on adding data. First property, it will add dynamic data. Second, it also hold the duplicated data. Third property, it maintaining the indexings based on indexing position it is adding. Now, if I remove the zeroth index value, then which data should be get removed? At zeroth index, which value is stored? Which is the value available at zeroth index? Hello,
One.
one is available. So it's remove one. Okay.
Yes.
So we are achieving that feature, the things which is not possible in array. But with the help of array list, we can store the data dynamically. We can remove data. And the size will be the increase based on data added and based on removed. Correct? So this is the main understanding we need, okay, to the difference that why we are studying a collection frameworks, because collection frameworks provide a variety of classes and interfaces to store a data dynamically in the different ways. Okay, so we are just get started into this. We are going to explore all the interfaces and the function and all related things. Also we can compare that feature of the list, array list, queue, stack, hash map, and all that things. Okay, you understood the main difference why we are studying collection framework, how the calculation will be done, and this is the first program. Because all remaining program structure will be remains same only. Okay, fine, it's not a problem. From tomorrow, we are going to, even though there are many operation we can do with an array list, then we can go for the linked list, then the stack, and all those things step by steps. Okay, no problem. So